Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, man? What's up? Who we got in the house today, man? So let's talk about this whole Young Thug situation, man. Let me see who we got in here, and let me allow everybody to get up in here real quick, man. Yep, man, go ahead, pile in. Make sure as you come in here, you hit that like button, man. It's very important so that way we can send these alerts out. And since we're doing this on the spur, man, it helps a lot. It helps out even more, man. So we're going to talk about this Young Thug situation. I sat through that entire hearing today, man. I'm talking about I watched the whole thing, man. So I was able to see exactly what was going on and, get all the finer details out of it as well, man. Now, if you want to show, what up, ATL? What up, ATL? What's going on? United Drills of America, I see you, bro. I see you. We in this, I already know. What up, Mobile, Alabama? What's up? What up, East Atlanta? Zone 6 in this building. Man, dog, that was a long day in court for, I don't know, just Young Thug or everybody who was watching. Feel like I've been watching that since this morning, man. I've been watching that all day. Like the whole bond hearing, man. It's been crazy too, man. Young Thug, I see why he wanted to keep that lawyer, man. Dude was trying, boy. He was throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them, man, trying to get Young Thug bond. But it looks like, man, to no avail. You know what I mean? Dude ended up not getting his bond. His bond was denied, and that's the headline we running through. But, man, we're also going to talk about some of the highlights from court, including, some of the things that were mentioned by the prosecutors, man. Now, the prosecutor went on, what was funny, man, and I was going to say this for later, were the times where he was reading the rap lyrics. If anybody else was watching the whole bond hearing today, you know exactly what I mean, man. When dude was reading them rap lyrics, man, that mess had me rolling, man. It was like he said slat, and then this to the snitches, and he was cussing and all that, man. It's funny. What up, Cincinnati? What up, Adrian, Michigan? What up, Anderson, South Carolina? My bad, man. I'm already in my zone. I want to talk about this, man. Y'all do me a favor, man. As y'all get in here, make sure you hit that like button. We should have about 100 likes right now, so that way we can get out our alerts and get things started, man. What up, Duval County? What up? It looks like somebody else was watching too, man. Zone 4 from Campbellton Road. What up? Ben Hill, Ben Real. What's up, man? Zone 4 business. I see you. Ben Hill, Ben Real, they used to say. Phoenix, Arizona. What up? College Park. What up? College Park. DMV area, what up? DMV checking in. That DC, Maryland, and Virginia, what up? What up, Just Say No to Sco? I see you, Doc. What up, man? It was 6 hours? Yeah, it was long, man. I watched that whole entire bond hearing today. And there were some funny moments there, and there were some serious moments and all that, right? Who else we got, man? We got, what's good, big man from Baltimore? What up, Baltimore? What up, B-More? What up, Orlando? What's up? I was dying laughing when he was reading them. Me too, man. When dudes started reading those lyrics to the judge, I bust out laughing, man. That mess was funny. Even though, it's not funny because, Young Thug, they ended up using those lyrics a lot. Y'all notice that? In the trial, the lyrics were used a lot, man. I was like, man, like, hey, aren't they trying to push to get this taken away? Like, no more lyrics? They was reading off the lyrics like he was trying to audition for YSL as a member, you know what I'm saying? Rap member, I mean, you know what I mean? Not the other thing. What up, Cleveland? What up? Oh, you on Cleveland right now. You on Cleveland in Atlanta. What up? Indiana, Muncie, Indiana in the house. What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all do me a favor, man. Let's get up to 100 likes, man. Y'all stop what y'all doing. Make sure everybody right now hit that like button, man, so we can get them alerts out and we can get this thing cracking. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't watch past 30 minutes. That's what I'm here for, man. If you couldn't watch the whole thing, I'm the type of person, I'm going to watch that whole bond hearing. And I was enjoying every minute of it, man. And I got what his lawyer was trying to do, man. I got what Young Thug's legal team was trying to do. But a large part of the bond hearing, man, early on, was just basically validating his lawyer, saying, like, can his lawyer be his lawyer or not? And they weren't leaving until they figured that out today. And then they were going to continue with the bond hearing. So everybody was like, oh, man. This is going to be real long and drawn out. You know what I mean? What up, ATL? What up? From the SWATs? What up? What up? Oklahoma in the building. I see you. 843 Chucktown. Geechee Gula. What up, Chucktown, man? Was that Charleston, South Carolina? I appreciate it, United Drills of America. I appreciate that. Shout out to Suriname. I'm not even familiar. Which country is that? Suriname? And I don't want to disrespect either, but shout out to y'all, man. I see you typed that twice. All right, y'all, get them likes up, man. Let's rock. Cleveland 216. What up, Cleveland? What up, tapping in? What up, everybody tapping in? I appreciate each and every one of y'all getting up in here. Now, as everybody gets in here, make sure you run them likes up because we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it for real, man. You know what I mean? Let it be known what we got going, you know what I mean? And hopefully y'all hear me loud and clearly. Tell me if you don't, man. Making sure I ain't got no doubles on. You got your mic on. And we doing everything right there. Look like we good. Like we good. All right. I'm going to do a couple more shout outs and then we're going to talk about this whole day, long day in court. And I felt like I was in court with him. Suriname, I already got you. What up? Chino the Hustler from Memphis. What up, man? Worcester, Ohio checking in. What up? Jersey checking in. Somebody on the Yes Sirski. What up? Chi-Town in the house. Chicago, y'all always in the house heavy. What up? What up, Chicago? What up? What up? What up? What up, 305? What up, Richmond, Virginia? What up? What up? Goldsboro, North Carolina. I see you, Chicago. I appreciate that. I am Smokey Joe. I appreciate that. Checking me out, making sure I'm good. Chi-Town in the house. Navarre in the house. Navarre. How do you... I always wondered how to pronounce that place, man. Is it Navarre? You know what I'm saying? Or Navarre? 561. What's up? All right, man. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. Do your boy a favor, though. Make sure you hit that like button. We should have about 200 likes so that way we can get this thing cracking. But regardless of that, this is what we're going to talk about, man. And we're going to keep it relatively short. You know, as short as I can keep it, right? I like to keep it pretty short. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the decision in the Young Thug bond hearing and how they got to that decision. So I've got several clips from throughout the bond hearing, throughout the day, where basically I broke down how the judge probably came out, you know, with that decision that he came to. Because there was a lot of things thrown out there in the court that basically painted Young Thug in not the best light. Made it look like Young Thug was really out here wilding, you know what I'm saying? Like issuing hits, allegedly issuing hits, putting out threats that ain't nobody gonna be telling or nothing, or so-and-so happened to so and what, you know? All of that, man. It was crazy. Now, there were slow times, and it started off relatively slow because they spent majority of their time in the beginning trying to argue if the guy Brian Steele could be Young Thug's lawyer. And the judge wasn't going for it. He wanted to get that decision done before they carried on with the bond decision. So both sides argued about that. You know, you had the prosecutors come out, and they argued that since Brian Steele, who is the guy who's Young Thug's attorney, had defended Young Thug, but other people he was named in their indictments in other cases, such as Yak Gotti. I think it was like several other people. A guy by the name of Greer, the guy Duke, his last name is Arnold, another guy Blaylock, another guy Eppinger, and another guy by the name of Stilwell. So he was named in previous cases with them. So they wanted to clear that up. Should he even be able to be a lawyer, or should he have to, recuse himself or whatever, man? And that went on forever. I'm talking about, man, you want to talk about forever, man? That went on forever, man. And it was like, okay, are we actually going to get to the bond hearing portion of that? And it seems like they took a long break. I want to call it lunch or something like that. And they finally came into a decision about the bond hearing. So we're going to talk about that a little more. And we're also going to talk about Yak Gotti's response, you know what I'm saying, to everything that was said in court, right? Everything that was said yesterday. And even the video I did yesterday where he talked about his 2015 case that went to appeal in 2018. And it didn't have Yak Gotti out here looking good. Now, he put it out there that he was not snitching, he was not telling or anything like that. That's just a picture of Young Thug's lawyer, the guy Brian Steele. And I see why he brought this guy on, and we'll get to that in a second, because he threw everything but the kitchen sink at this, trying to get Young Thug bond. He tried, man. They had a community active, they had a teenage community activist and public speaker come in to speak on Young Thug's behalf. They tried that. They said he even had a slide reel and a video reel of highlights of moments with Young Thug doing positive things. I mean, they pulled out the stops. Like, he was like, the judge was like, all right, man, I get it. I don't even want to, like, you don't have to show the slideshow, man. You don't have to show the video that he compiled of Young Thug doing great things in the community. We get it. He's got people who love him in the community, man. Let's continue. But it was an interesting try by his attorney. And also, man, yeah, we're gonna end on the decision. We're not gonna end on the decision. We're gonna actually open up with the decision, and we'll get to the Yak Gotti situation and end it all there. Now, in order for me to get things started, you know how we do. We got to keep it official, like a ref with a whistle, and you know there's only one way to do that. What? My intro ain't working? Oh, man, my bad, y'all. Y'all looking at nothing, huh? Y'all like, where the intro? All right, so we going to leave it at that, man. Interesting. All right, regardless, man, so let's get to it, man. I don't know, call that technical difficulties or whatever you want to call it, but let's get it, dog. So, man, let's get started with the video, and we're going to kick it off by playing the clip that I know everybody wants to see first, man. And that's this right here, man. And the judge's decision.
Group chat that from 2015 starting, anybody goes into a courtroom and tells God honest truth, they'll be for the language. And this threat is still being talked about. So that is of a concern to the court in regards to the danger to or threats to persons in the community. So and fact is no significant arrest of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. That is the court's concern. The two major concerns that this court has is danger to persons and threats to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So I have some concerns about the flight that I share with Judge Wolf also indicated, but and I'm not going to hold it against him that he is very successful and has significant means. But those two factors in particular, threats to persons in the community or poses significant risk of intimidation of witnesses, otherwise obstructing administration of justice, the court has considered a number of the predicate statements. And for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
Now, as you heard right there in that clip, the judge explained that how he came to the decision at the end of the day that Young Thug is not getting bond from him at this time. Now, he left it as a caveat at this time, meaning he can come back and try for bond later. We've seen YF and Lucci go up to bat a couple of times, but, you know, usually that first decision hits the hardest. And the reason why it seems like the judge, based on everything that was presented in front of him today, that the judge came to that conclusion was this, man. There was the prosecutor went in front of the judge and basically painted a picture like Young Thug was, I don't know, on some like big time mob boss type stuff. Like that's what it seemed like, you know, the picture that he painted. He even used mob names in it like Gotti and all this other stuff, right? And he basically said things like this. I'm going to play this clip where he says that, you know, he shouldn't get bond basically because there's witnesses that have already come out to say that they've been threatened and other gang members who are actually said that they've been threatened or whatnot. So let's check this out.
Since the last time I was in front of the court, we have evidence and information of even more threats to our witnesses. But I want to be clear. I have no evidence directly that Mr. Williams made a threat or directed anybody to make a threat. But our witnesses in this case are being threatened with violence, serious violence, and death. Again, I have no direct evidence that Mr. Williams has done this or was involved in that.
Now, as you heard the lawyer describe there, he said basically people are saying, you know, to them on the side or whatever, like behind the scenes, like, yo, man, there's already people putting out, you know, warnings and stuff like that, telling people if they telling or if they talking in the case, it'll be an issue. So no judge in their right mind, when you show up and you paint somebody as this figure who could just call out hits and things like that, is going to say, oh, all right, whatever, man, he can still get bond. You know, it just made it tough for him, man. It made it real tough for him in there. And it didn't end there. The prosecutor also said this right here, which probably struck a chord because he talked about people saying that, telling them that, or telling the state's attorneys that, Young Thug and YSL would essentially get people in their family and themselves, out of here. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out.
Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow gang members from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will kill them and their family.
Now, as you heard there, I don't know, that's some scary talk, especially when the judge has a decision to make. I know a lot of people, especially if you're a YSL fan, you're going to be upset about this. You're going to be like, what in the world? Why they hating on Young Thug? Why they ain't let him out? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because there was a lot being said on his lawyer's behalf as well. So let's talk a little bit about that before we get to the obvious, where they talked in court about YFN Lucci's homeboy Donovan Thomas Jr. and talked about the shooting and the alleged conversation that Nut and Young Thug had arguing over YFN Lucci's career that led to the shooting allegedly, man. And hopefully that makes sense. So allegedly back in like 2015 when the shooting took place, OG Nut, YFN Lucci's homeboy or whatnot, who's allegedly a part of who's allegedly a part of one group, right? And Young Thug got into it about YFN Lucci's career. Like they got into it about the fact that his career and where it was going to go, because, they were trying to bring all these different factions of this certain organization together. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was said in court. So let's see if we can play that clip, man. I didn't want to get to this too early, but let's check this out. Man, my bad. Your boy having technical difficulties right now, so damn, I want to play that clip for y'all. There you go.
Threats, etc. Judge, and again, they're listed in the indictment. Judge, the murder of Donovan Thomas that we've spoken a few times, that's basically Act 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. In that series of acts, in Act 16, the state can prove that, or I will say this, it's the state's contention that the car used in that murder was a car rented personally by Mr. Williams just days before. And evidence will come in concerning the beef between Mr. Williams and Mr. Donovan Thomas that involves another well-known rapper and how that gentleman's career was going to go. And Mr. Thomas and Mr. Williams had a serious disagreement about that, which led to Mr. Thomas's untimely death. Your Honor, on Act 25 from January 25th, 15, we have a conversation. A conversation is an electronic digital form where the defendant states sacrifices must be made, soldiers must fall in order for battle to be won. And then it goes on to talk about everyone has to line up between all the sex, money, murder, which is a subset of blood.
Now, you heard that straight from the prosecutor's mouth. He basically said that, there was a falling out because of, a disagreement about an up-and-coming artist. Now, he didn't name YFN Lucci that time, but he did say he had been mentioned previously, because earlier in the case, they did talk about YFN Lucci, man, and how the fallout between Nut, OG Nut, or YFN Lucci's big homeboy, and Young Thug allegedly led to him losing his life, man. Crazy, man. Crazy, man. So there's a lot going on in court today, and a lot of clips like that. We ain't even got there yet, but let's actually talk about what Young Thug's lawyer was saying. So y'all do me a favor. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, run them likes up. We should have about 500 likes right now, man. Go ahead and hit that like button if you're in here. But let's talk about Young Thug's attorney, man. So Young Thug's attorney tried his best, man, and I watched him all day. He had to first argue in order to be his attorney. So once they won that, and what happened was they came out with a decision about some waivers. So that those people who are also on the trial, his name has been in their cases before or previous cases, he didn't have to be a witness. He could be a lawyer at this time, and they'll revisit it and talk about some sort of waivers or something like that, right? Now, there was another lawyer who had to do the same thing, and he was in court for that purpose as well. But most of the people attended through Zoom call, including Young Thug, man. Young Thug was on the Zoom call, and he was just, I don't know, man. There was a time there where it looked like Young Thug was praying, and there was a time that Young Thug was on the Zoom call. It looked like he was chilling. I don't know. But the whole time, he even made everybody laugh for a second there. Because Young Thug, right before the decision was about to be made, came in and was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I've been holding it for too long. And everybody started laughing. And the judge quieted everybody down, was like, hey, man, that's not funny. You know what I'm saying? But Young Thug, I think he was serious, too, because they immediately took a recess, and they was on recess for I want to say 5 minutes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a picture of Young Thug from today's hearing right there. That was when he was trying to tell him he needed to go to the bathroom, man. Funny moment, man. You know, you had to be there. You know, you had to be there, or at least be watching. Anybody who's watching knows what I'm talking about. But outside of that, Young Thug's attorney, that Brian Steele guy, he tried his best, man. He tried his best. He did a lot of things to try and get bond for Young Thug. So let's run down a couple of them, man. And some of them involved other people. So he had different people come in and talk. One of those being, and this was a surprise to me, Kevin Liles. So Kevin Liles, I believe, is part owner of 300 Entertainment now, but he was a heavyweight with Def Jam forever, man. He has been a big dog in the music industry forever. And he told the judge straight up and told the court straight up today that I'll even put my own fortune up so Young Thug can get out on bond. I have that much faith, this is him saying that he has that much faith that Young Thug will do the right thing and that he's innocent. And the judge gave him an opportunity, and the attorneys gave him an opportunity to go on a rant protecting rap music, saying this is ridiculous. He went off. He was like, I'm kind of glad he said what he said, depending on how you feel about the trial or whatever, because a lot of the things he was saying made a point. He said, hey, I've been defending rap music for over 40 years, and this is crazy, how they could just use lyrics in the indictment and, use that as a basis to put somebody, in chains and lock them up. Free, Young Thug should get a bond and whatnot. I mean, he got to talk a little bit, and I was like, okay, Kevin Liles still got that Def Jam spirit in him, you know what I'm saying? And he talked about the fact that him and Young Thug are partners and whatnot, and it was an interesting moment, You don't expect a record executive of his stature. And I'm not blowing this up, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about Kevin Liles was one of the big dogs in the music industry, you know what I mean? And he showed up, you know what I mean? He showed up. Now there was also this guy by the name, I want to say Millsap, and he was a security guy. And these are all people speaking on Young Thug's behalf. And he wanted a situation, well, it seems like Young Thug's attorneys, and there was a team of them. There was 3 that spoke on his behalf besides Brian Steele, their team. And they wanted to set up a situation which is similar to NBA YoungBoy. That's what I got from it. It's an NBA YoungBoy type of situation. They'll monitor his calls and everything. He has 4 different homes that he could be at. It'd be for a home arrest or whatever, house arrest or whatnot. So they had this security guy. He came out and basically confirmed that they have enough people, how much it would cost. I think it would cost $1 million up until trial and, before trial or whatever. So that's the next 6 months, because trial for everybody, if you guys don't know, is going to start in January 2023. So it's going to be a busy day, January 9th, 2023, even though they might be doing some moving around with that, they said later on, right? But he said it would have cost them $1 million, and they'd be able to make sure that nobody drops any phones or anything like that, because they were worried. I guess they've been having a situation, this came out in court, where people have been dropping phones off in Fulton County jail using what do they call it? Drones, man. That's serious. People dropping off contraband and stuff like that using drones and all sorts of stuff, they said in court today. I was like, wow, this cat's done got sophisticated with trying to get stuff up in that jail, man. And that's just the Fulton County jail, so you never know. You know what I mean? Now, also, they talked to this guy, and this guy almost had me laughing right here. Hold on, let's bring him up. This guy, Mitchell. And he seems like a good guy. And he obviously runs Young Thug's nonprofit. You know, most businesses have a nonprofit that they're affiliated with. And he's a college-educated guy. And he was basically talking about the fact that Young Thug is a pillar of the community, man. That they had a Juneteenth celebration last year where he bought a lot of things for the community. He had a shoe drive where he just gave out shoes and it came out of nowhere. And he even has a YSL-sponsored football team that they're called the 49ers. And he's from Cleveland. He's from Cleveland Road or Cleveland Ave or whatever in Atlanta. And it seems like, man, he was just there talking up Young Thug and trying to show that, you know, he's a good guy. You know? But with all that, man, it seems like all those people spoke on his behalf, and there was others that were gonna speak on his behalf. There was a doctor who's gonna show up and talk about that jail that he's in, you know, that Cobb County jail where there's a whole bunch of issues and whatnot. But man, none of that can stop the inevitable from happening. So for those of you who are just joining in and didn't listen to the judge's decision, I'm gonna play that one more time for y'all. Come on now. Don't nothing want to work? My bad, y'all.
Group chat that from 2015 starting, anybody goes into a courtroom and tells God honest truth, they'll be for the language. And this threat is still being talked about. So that is of a concern to the court in regards to the danger to or threats to persons in the community. So and factors poses no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. That is the court's concern. The two major concerns that this court has is danger to persons and threats to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So I have some concerns about the flight that I share with Judge Wolf also indicated, but and I'm not going to hold it against him that he is very successful and has significant means, but those two factors in particular, threats to persons in the community or poses significant risk of intimidation of witnesses and otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. The court has considered a number of the predicate statements and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
Now, you heard there the judge's decision, man, and that's where we're at so far, man. So it's looking like Young Thug, just like everybody else, is not going to get bond. Also in court today was Yak Gotti. Yak Gotti was in court, and he did not get bond either, man. So Yak Gotti was in court, and he was in there quick. I'm talking about, when I say quick, I mean Yak Gotti was in there so fast it was ridiculous. And there was kind of a clip of it. Actually, there was a picture that I had of Yak Gotti in court right here. And this Yak Gotti, he looked different, right? Like his dreads are gone or something like that. Maybe it's the pressure from all that news from yesterday that was on him. But he was in court relatively quick, and the judge told him, like, no, I'm not releasing you on bond. You know, I feel like you sort of the same thing as Young Thug, like, you know, it wouldn't be best for the community or whatever. I mean, basically the judge went on the basis that they're all a danger to the community in this situation, potentially. So he denied Yak Gotti bond as well. Now, with Yak Gotti being spoken of, let's talk about this post that Yak Gotti made, man. So Yak Gotti took to social media to combat all those snitching allegations that are out there. You know, I even did a video yesterday that talked about the situation that he has going on, right? Now, in this post, Yak Gotti said this. He said, 2015, my brother never did a day in jail because I did 4 years fed, no tears, stopped the cap. So basically saying that in that 2015 case that we talked about yesterday, that his brother never did any time in jail. So he's talking about the guy who was arrested with him, guy by the name of Duke, and he's saying he never did any time in jail. And that, you know, he did the 4 years in federal time himself. Now, that is true. If you look at the case file and stuff like that, he was sentenced federally Duke wasn't even sentenced federally. He was sentenced on the state level. And I'm not sure if the case went away or anything like that. But I know for Yak Gotti on the federal level, he ended up having to be monitored. And, he was on supervised release or whatever for a long time, even up until 2021 and recently, or even 2022 recently, where he was still checking in to go to Rolling Loud and stuff like that. And every time they do that, they'd have to put a motion in the case file, and you can see that. But he's saying, and I saw that guy that's on the Vlad right now, the community activist dude who's been doing, the coverage of the YSL and YFN RICO cases. And he made a tweet as well where he talked about, just because of what it says in that 2018 appeal that Yak Gotti hasn't told or whatever, that doesn't mean that Yak Gotti was out here telling. I just said yesterday, I never said that he was definitely whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I did say it ain't look too good. You know what I'm saying? Nothing about that looked good, because we can even pull up the way things acting today. We're going to leave it alone. We're going to leave it alone. Because basically, everything that was said there, it painted Yak Gotti in a certain light, and I don't want to revisit that. So we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. But regardless of that, Yak Gotti is saying that what everybody's saying is wrong, and you guys can take that for what it is, man. For what it is. And basically, man, those were the only two things I wanted to talk about today, man. It was a very long day in court. I felt like I was in court with him, so that's why I'm talking like it. Because, man, it was long and drawn out. And there was a lot of breaks, a lot of recesses and things. But the gist of it is, right now, Young Thug's bond is denied. That doesn't mean that he can't potentially get bond in the future. But if he does, we'll be clued in. And if he doesn't, we'll be clued in anyway. Now, with that, this has been your boy, Big Man. Hey, everybody who checked in here, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell, so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace. Oh, yeah, and shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If I ain't get to your city this time, I'll get to it next time. And I appreciate everybody that showed up. And, man, make sure y'all smash that like button on your way out. And we out of here. Peace.